How the heck are you guys? I am Fastidious. I wanted to give you a quick and immediate update on our Gear Aid 3 drop rate study, checking the drop rates of ancient gear, gear in general, bonus gear, all the way down to the specific bonuses like demon soldiers and ancient summoning shards, so on and so on. It's going phenomenal. So I thank you guys so much. I'm going to put a QR code on the screen right now for anyone who wants it. If you scan this, it will bring you to the form right here. Otherwise, just use the link in the description and the top pinned comment for the form. Basically, whenever you finish farming, even a small session like this, if you want to stay on top of things, please go and fill out that form. I want to give a huge shout out to, I'm so sorry I forget his name, so if it's you, comment on this video and I'll give you the shout out in the comments and maybe the next video. Before I was telling you, you have to count all your pieces of gear. Now, why is that? Your number of runs does not equal your total pieces of gear. By the way, I just want to give you guys this tip and then I'll show you the current state of the study, how well it's going, and some early feedback I can give you, a little teaser. But what I want to tell you, this is a huge trick if you're participating and you want it to go easier. So I was basically saying you have to go in here because normal accounts, you can just get bonus drops. And then if you have the Priv card under here, which I don't have, you'll get even more Priv card bonus drops. However, this viewer, I think it was, I want to say it was Shin Yao, but I don't want to be wrong, but I think that's who it was, gave the tip, hey, you get 20 points in the Brave Conquest or in the Gear Aid 3 Oracle's trial, the Forgotten Palace, you get 20 points per piece. It doesn't matter if it's ancient or non-ancient. So if you just go to the bottom and you take either this number for the Forgotten Palace trophies or this one for the Brave Conquest points. Apparently Gerald wrote it on Discord as well. Someone's just DMing me that now. So shout out to everyone who had this idea. You get 20 points per piece. You can just take either of these numbers, not both, either one. They're the same number. So 560, divide it by 20. That's your total pieces of gear. So I got 28 pieces of gear. I haven't counted yet. I'll do that with you guys now just to prove it. But this is huge. If you just do 20 runs, it's not a big deal to go count. But if you do 350 runs and you have 487 pieces drop, that's annoying as hell. Now you can just take this number and divide by 20. It's so easy. Use a calculator, use your web browser, whatever. Do it in your head. You know, eliminate the 0 and divide by 2. Then you're cooking, right? So it's 56 divided by 2, 28. Beautiful. That makes it so much easier to fill out this form. I really suggest you all do it in case you were discouraged by how tedious it was to count. So here's just an example of how to input. You do your Discord ID. Do you have the privilege card? Answer yes or no. For me, it's no. What stage? 21. How many runs? 20. 560 divided by 20. How many pieces of gear dropped? 28. How many were ancients? 0. You don't have to tick off any boxes here then if it was 0. Many people are clicking 7 because they think they got 7 ancients total, so that's what we want. No. The way this works is if you got 2 Infernal Roar pieces, you go to Infernal Roar 2 and you tick off here. I didn't, so I won't do that, but you're only doing Contact Us More if somehow you did 500 runs and you got 7 Infernal Roars, or I guess more than 7, 8 or 9 or 10, then you contact us. It hasn't happened to anyone yet in well over 500 entries. It's probably not going to happen to you. Click the right things, do the right use of the grid. If we continue on here, how many spirits did you get? I got 0. These are your enhancement materials, your ascension materials. How many bullions, how many bouillons did you get? I got 0. These are the things you can then use to ascend ancient gear. And then how many demon soldiers? These go in 10s. And actually a bunch of people that have done a huge farming have gotten over 60 frags or 6 drops of these guys down here, the Fallen Reaper, the Carrying Hound, and the Scalekin Mage. So they just DM us or tag me on my Discord, the Fast and Fastidious, and then I'll update it in the sheet over here manually. We'll go over that in a second. But you can see in this run, I had 10 of each. Boom. Continuing on, I got no frags, no master keys. I got 13 fabrics, 15 scales, no diamonds, and 10 stamina. Submit. It's that easy. This is like the 5th time I've done this. You really get into the rhythm, and it can just be part of your farming routine. The more data, the better. And let me tell you, we have a ton of data. So this column here is how many runs did you do? We've had less than 5% dirty data, so where people input things wrong. Like, let me find an example of that here. Let me scroll up. You know, people doing text entries about 300 doesn't really help us, right? So we clean data is where there's no issues. We're like well over 95%, if not closer to 100% than 95. So we go to the top, how many runs have been done? I can take this E column, go all the way to the bottom. And by the way, these entries begin right over here above my head on the 2nd row. So to know the total number of entries, and you can keep refilling out this form. Like I said, I've done it 5 times. Whenever you finish a farming session, do that. It starts on row 2, and we're all the way down here already to row 608. So it started on row 2. That means we've done 607 entries already in exactly, I think, 24 hours since I posted my video. Let's actually check that now. Okay, so exactly 24 hours. 130. Like it was sometime yesterday afternoon. Boom, phenomenal. So in just 24 hours, we've already had 600 entries. Imagine if we do this for another 2.5 days, we should be looking at closer to 2,000 entries. You may be wondering how many total runs have been accounted for. I can just get the sum here. We've passed 75,000 runs accounted for in only 24 hours. So that's phenomenal. How many pieces of gear have come? I can get you that number here. 99,000, just less than 100,000 pieces of gear counted already. So that can already start giving us the rates. How many ancients are we getting per run? How many ancients are we getting per piece of gear dropped? Because you do average more pieces of gear than you average runs, naturally. Even more if you have the priv card. So this is including priv card and non-priv card, but we can sort for that later. You can see all the yeses and the nos. We go over here. How many pieces of ancient gear have dropped for you? Let's take the sum. We're coming closer to 1,000 pieces. So let's do some math. How many ancients are we averaging per run? We can just take this number, 837, divide by the total number of runs. Let's turn it into percentage for easy viewing pleasure. 1.8% of the runs are dropping an ancient. Keep in mind there that is including priv card and non-priv card together, but one number that won't include that is just per piece in general in Watch of Realms. This is the rate we're looking for. What percentage of time when a piece of gear drops is it going to be ancient? And by the way, this is also including 18, 19, 20, and 21, though the vast majority of our data does come from 21, as you'll see. This is just a teaser bit of data. We'll have final data. It will be in a beautiful spreadsheet. Seamus and I'm sure will make it look great. Mostly Seamus. Take this number, divide over here, and phenomenal. We're coming in at just less than 0.8.5% per piece of gear dropped. So at 21, it's probably about 9%, 0.9%. Previously, it was about 0.6%. So it looks like they have boosted it about 50%. Before you get whining in the comments, I'm sure some of you have already started, I wanted to show one final thing. Let's search this sheet and sort by my name. So you can see I've had 5 entries. So let's just take you through it. Here I did 39 runs, 47 pieces, no ancients. Then over here, I did 64 runs, 80 pieces, no ancients. So off to a bad start. We're at 127 pieces, no ancients. We go to my third one over here. This one I did 42 runs, 53 pieces, no ancients. Now I'm 0 for 170. But then, you know, you have your bad luck. That gets evened out over time. For me, it happened pretty quickly with good run, a good auto sesh. I did 130 runs, 160 pieces, and I actually dropped 3 ancients, including the best ancient, the best piece of gear ever on my account. I'll probably make a whole video about it because I'm so happy with that piece. But now all of a sudden, we were at 0 for 170. Then we went 3 for 160. Let's do runs here. So it's exactly 3 for 130. Before you know it, we're kind of cooking with gas here. It's about 1 every 100. So I know people get discouraged, but the reason we're doing this study, and then you can see now I went 0 for 20 runs, 0 for 28 pieces. The reason we're doing this study is there's a lot of power in a huge amount of data. So just because you're down on your luck, whatever, I'm having bad rates right now, over a big sample, it will even out. And you might say, well, I only do a small sample. I only do a couple hundred runs. Over months, you become the big sample. You've done thousands, if not tens of thousands. And if you're a whale or kraken or crazy player, could be hundreds of thousands of runs, you will see the true rates manifest. That is the point of this. We want to know the true rates. I haven't touched on it yet, but we will have the true rates of the demon soldiers, each specific one. We'll have the true rates of the master keys, the ancient summoning shards, those fragments. I mean, it goes on and on. We'll know how many fabrics you're getting, how many smoldering scales. So how often are you going to be able to do the forge? How often do you have to do your runs on average? This is a really, really important thing. The final thing I do want to say, pretty please share this with your friends, share this with your guildmates, share this with your community, share it with other content creators. I reached out to a couple content creators. Some of them are very eager to help. Some of them have totally ghosted me. The people that have ghosted me, looking at you, Destined, you said you were really, really interested in transparency and letting the rates be disclosed. This is a way to do it. Let's all take our personal feelings aside and let's all work together to reveal everything we want to know in this game. If we go over here to submit another response, you can see I've removed my logo from the thing. This is not about me in any way, guys. All right, this is about us and getting information for you guys, the players, and the community as a whole. You don't have to watch my video. You don't have to send them this. Send them the form and explain how important this is. Do it. All right. Thank you. Share with your mother. Peace.
Fastidious.